Mark Bellison creates the art of lying as a result of a bank's technological error. With his newfound power, he gains love, fame, and success when everyone begins to believe his falsehoods. Stick around to the end to see how his story unfolds. Hello, and welcome to Comedy Recap. Today we will give you a recap of the film The Invention of Lying. Spoilers ahead, obviously. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. The movie starts off with Mark Bellison, who is a screenwriter taking a girl Anna out for a date. He arrives at her apartment and reminds her that he is in his 40s, still doesn't have any financial assets, and is most probably going to be fired. They both went to the restaurant where Mark and Anna started talking and told each other awkward truths that revolved around their lives. The waiter took their order, after which Anna got a call from her mother. Anna talked to her mother on the phone and rudely, but truthfully, described Mark's appearance to her mother, while Mark was sitting right in front of her. She then told her mother that she didn't consider sleeping or even kissing Mark. Both of them ate their dinner and left back home. The next day, Mark met Frank, who also lived in the same building. Mark told him that he himself is most probably getting fired today, while Frank told him that he was considering killing himself. Mark then went to the lecture films building where he worked. Mark met a receptionist who told him that he is most probably getting fired. Mark went to his office box where he was met by his boss, who told him that he was fired. He then got a message email from Anna, who told him that she is not going to see him again, as she was way out of his league. Mark then got his stuff to leave, where the receptionist told him of how she looked down on Mark. And another worker, Brad, came to him and reminded Mark of how hideous he was and how he was more successful than him. Mark then went to a foster home for elderly people to meet his mother and told her about him getting fired from his job. Mark then went home and met his landlord, who decided to get Mark evicted since he wasn't able to pay his rent of $800, and he only had $300 in his bank account. Mark then went to his bank, where he finally decided to lie. He told the receptionist that he had $800 in his account, and the receptionist thought that the system had made some mistake and handed $800 to Mark. Mark, who finally realized the advantages of lying, went back to his apartment, paid his rent, and celebrated in joy. Mark then went to a pub and met his friend Greg. Mark tried his best to explain how he lied, but Greg and the bartender kept on believing what Mark was stating and were unable to understand the concept of lying. He then asked them, after giving up, what they would do if they had the authority to do anything in the world. To which Greg and the bartender both replied that they would touch a girl's breast and probably sleep with them. Mark, and now curious to have intercourse with a random lady using his lie, went outside the pub and saw an attractive lady. He then approached her and told her that the world was going to end if they didn't have intercourse. The lady panicked and rushed Mark to a nearby motel. Mark then, realizing what he was doing was wrong, pretended to get a call from NASA and told the lady that the world wasn't ending. The lady sighed in comfort and Mark left for the pub. Mark then asked his friend Greg again what he would do if he had the authority to do anything except touch a girl's breast, to which Mark thought of getting loads of money. He then left with Greg to go to a casino, where an officer stopped him and asked if any one of them was drunk, and told him the fine was $5,400. The officer tackled Greg after finding out that he was drunk, and Mark then lied to the officer that Greg wasn't drunk. The officer let him go, never thinking that Mark had lied. Mark and Greg went to the casino, where Mark used the advantage of lying to win money at various games in the casino. Mark then went home and met Frank again, where Mark told him not to kill himself and that he would find someone that would love him. Mark, now all motivated, tried helping everyone he could by using his power of lying. Mark then called Anna and asked her about another date with him. Mark then turned on his television again and saw his co-worker being advertised as the best screenwriter there was. Mark felt challenged and decided the next morning to go to his old boss. He told him that he was depressed after he fired him, and that he later went for a walk to a deserted area and found a chest in which he found an old book. The boss, who didn't really know that Mark had written the fake ancient book, told his receptionist to call everybody to listen to Mark's discovery. Everyone collectively stood and emotionally listened to Mark's story. Mark then told everyone that his screenplay will be named The Black Plague, and that it will be the best screenplay ever to be written. Mark is now at the date he had planned with Anna. Mark explained his father's backstory to Anna and also told her about his mother. He then asked Anna if she still considered going into a serious relationship with him, to which Anna denied. Mark then went to the hospital where his mother was on her deathbed. Mark felt sorry for his mother, who believed in nothingness after death. Mark then lied to her that after death she'd go to her favorite place and will get a mansion with no other feelings but love. A few seconds later, Mark's mother died, but the doctors and nurses were still hung up on what Mark had said. Mark was with Anna, sad about his mother's death. He then went out and saw a crowd who were waiting for him in curiosity to know about the place he had described to his dying mother. He went inside his apartment and met Anna, where she asked him what he said to his mother that day. Mark told her everything, where Anna became happy, and told Mark that he had to tell the crowd outside to make them happy since it made her happy. Mark then decided to write a letter for the world to read about his story of after-death experience, where the world waited to hear what he had to say. Mark finally wrote the letter and went outside to read it. Mark first told them that there was a man in the sky that controlled everything. Secondly, he told them that after they died, they would go to a place where they will all have a mansion and will meet their loved ones who had also died. He then told them that all the people who commit sins will go to another place where they will be punished. He then further described that the man in the sky caused all the good and bad things to happen to everyone. Mark, who is now successful after his fame, is now writing more successful screenplays and bought his own mansion and moved there with Anna. Mark then sat with Anna in a park and tried convincing her to like him. They now are at Mark's mansion, and Anna told him that she was going on a date with Brad, who was a good-looking co-worker of Mark. Brad takes Anna on a date and convinces her that they are a good match and that she shouldn't see Mark again. Mark then sat with Greg and Frank near his pool, where Frank told Mark that he didn't consider looking for someone since he would be getting a mansion after dying just like Mark had stated. We then see Anna with her mother, where her mother forces her to date Brad. Mark goes to the grave where his mother was buried and tells her that he isn't happy. A few months later, we see Anna meeting with Mark, where Mark had grown out his hair and had a beard. Anna told him that she was getting married since she would get old and wrinkly, to which Mark replied that he'd still love her even if she got old. Anna became quite happy after hearing his reply. Mark finally went to Anna's wedding and told Anna his feelings for her. After a while, Mark decided to tell Anna that he had lied about the man in the sky, but he had never lied to her, since he thought that it wouldn't count. Anna fell for Mark, and both decided to get married. We can then see, years later, Mark and Anna with their child living a happily ever after life, where Mark managed to teach his son to lie as well. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.